So I go into the toilet room of my house today, only to find this on the wall. My first thought was, who the hell did this shit? No pun intended. But seriously, I was like, holy crap. Again, no pun intended. Yeah, it turns out it had nothing to do with bad aim, because that takes talent to fuck up this badly. So, after doing a little bit of detective work, what I found is that it was some fucking bird. So what happened is that, as it decided to fly over the house, it took a shit, it splattered into the screen, went over here, and then the rest of it splattered against the wall. What the hell? This is like Angry Birds in real life. It's like honestly, you need to get the right trajectory to be able to do this. I don't know. I don't know if I should be mad or impressed with this, but all I know is that I have to clean this the fuck up now, so, I don't know, off to it, I guess. Hey guys, this is a follow-up to the video that I did titled, Be the Bigger Person. And the reason why I want to follow this up is because, you know, I wanted to show an equal and opposite side of, you know, my life, I guess. And if you haven't seen another video yet, I'll link it down below, but the reason why I want to do this one, which should be obvious by the title, is because I thought it was a little bit, you know, shitty of me to only talk about the great, wonderful things that I did, you know, on those 5 occasions, and not talk about, you know, the other negative things. But we all have negative, you know, traits. There are times where, you know, we've done things that we kind of regret and wish we didn't do, and so there are times where I have lost my shit, okay? And unfortunately, once shit already hit the fan, I couldn't take it back, because it's not really like name-calling. And, you know, in no particular order, I didn't really write down any of these things, but there's 2 occasions I'll speak about, and if I remember something else along the way, then I'll mention it. But I remember I'm pretty good at keeping my shit together, by the way, so if I do explode, someone really fucking got to me. But I remember there was a time when I was 12, so I'm in primary school, so grade 7, which is how it works here in Australia. It might be different now, but at least back in 2001 when I was in grade 7 and age 12, excuse me, lunch, yeah, that's how it was. And so, what might surprise people is that I was actually bullied a lot in school, primary school all the way to high school. Actually, to the age of about 15, 16, I was bullied quite a fair bit. Then I reached the age of where I didn't give a fuck and decided to unleash my martial arts skills, which no one else knew that I had prior. I was just known as the geeky kind of nerdy kid, borderline weird kid as well, but I was also sheltered a lot by my parents, and so didn't really help as far as social interactions. But anyway, because I was, you know, one of those kind of kids, there was this little fucking bitch called Kim, and she would always, and that is her real name, and she always went out of her way to, you know, to get in my face and get under my skin. And yeah, I know they say sticks and stones may break your bones, words will never hurt you. Yeah, that's all well and good. But when you need to deal with this stuff, you know, 5 days a week, every single day, so there was this little sheltered area with these seats that went, like, all the way around. So I'm sitting there every single lunchtime. This little fucking cunt would, you know, I don't give a shit if she's an adolescent. I was old enough to know not to bully people because it's wrong. She didn't figure that out. She's a cunt fucker. So she would come over and she would get in my face. And she would be constantly saying, oh, so have you been sucking, like, you know, the Japanese teacher's cock, you know, lately and stuff like that? And, you know, I'd tell her, just, seriously, go away, leave me alone. She wouldn't do that. So this is one of those bullies that went out of their way to make you feel fucking miserable. So the first week, yeah, it was one of those things you can sort of deal with. And then when that constantly plays in your psyche and they're doing this all the time, every day, this went on for about 3 months. And I don't know why, I just wasn't one of those kids that really tried to speak to teachers about stuff when I probably should have. I don't know, I kind of felt like I was being the bad one by dobbing them in or something, and I don't know, I just hoped if I ignored the problem it would go away. I know better now, but again, I was 12. And yeah, so she would constantly get in my face and, you know, irritate me, stuff like that, and yeah, there was a day where I just fucking snapped. You know, yeah, looking back at it now, if I had the skills now, maybe I would have done something different, but wasn't the case. And usually I could just ignore bullies, and when they realize that you're not giving them any satisfaction, they ignore you. No, apparently I issued this bitch a challenge. She would constantly go out of my way, you know, and just onslaught of just, you know, insult, insult, insult. And so yeah, one day I just yelled at her and said, fuck off, and then yeah, she was then constantly yelling fuck off at the top of my voice, apparently didn't do anything, and she's constantly then insulting me. And yeah, this is where things get a little bit hazy, because I kind of like blacked out, but apparently when I was like got up, I then just went full gross murder. I didn't shred or rip pieces off, but I just choked her as hard as I could,
and she went red in the face, there was veins showing and stuff like that, and apparently it took 3 other kids, roughly my age as well, to drag me off her. Anyway, and when that happened, I'm still shaking because that fucking adrenaline's go working itself overtime, and then I stare at her, she's looking at me like this. You know, she's got that, like, sinister little smirk going on. And, yeah. Then, of course, you know, they got reported, I got sent to the... It wasn't actually detention, they called it the RTC, which stood for the Responsible Thinking Classroom. Whatever. It's fucking detention. And so, anyway, I went there and explained what was up, and then, you know, they actually got involved, and then that stopped things for about 2 months, and then she was back at it again. But the thing is, her best friend at the time was also a close friend of mine, so it was kind of a weird, you know, triangle of tribulation going on. But my other friend, Kat, spoke to her and said for her to stand down, I guess, and so, yeah, she did. But yeah, I still remember that day because it was a very monumental moment of an event where I lost my shit. Another event where I lost my shit, and most guys are going to think I'm justified in this one. Anyway, one of my mother's boyfriends, a absolute alcoholic piece of shit, the kind that always tries to make up excuses for him to justify, drinking and being an absolute cunt. And they always say, yeah, there's, his side of the story, her side, and then there's the truth, and, well, yeah, granted, that might be true, but trust me when I say he's a cunt in all 3 versions. And, yeah, he got very physically abusive towards her on one night where he decided to drag her down the hallway by her hair. So I did what most guys did. I broke his arm in 2 places. Anyway, yeah, I lost my shit because I was like, fuck you, no way, this shit ain't happening. That's one I don't really regret, but it is a time where I did lose my shit. And so, hey, when something's happening like that, I just was like, nope, fuck this, I'm going for it. Sorry, cat's making noise outside. Man, what was another event where I lost my shit? Yeah, there was this other event where, there was this other girl that I fell for pretty heavily, despite the fact that she was a lesbian at the time. Now, I know people saying, like, what was the point of that then? I'm like, oh yeah, because emotions really work that way, I remember now. The thing with when you fall in love, it's like falling in quicksand. The more you try and struggle and get out of it, the faster you sink. And so that's kind of what happened to me. I tried to fight it and it didn't really work out too well. And of course I was feeling a little bit upset over this thing, and anyway, in the group of friends we had at the time, there was 2 guys by the name of Matt, and there was this one guy who, when he wasn't around, we referred to him as Shut Up Matt, because he was the kind of guy you told to shut up all the time. He was a fucking A-grade, yeah, anyway. All, derogatory terms aside, this guy wasn't really a great human being, and so, yeah, he was trying to urge me to, like, go to some other girl and whatnot while I was still in my, I guess, depressive state that things didn't really work out between me and, said lesbian girl. And I said, no, I'm not really interested in that, I'm just wanting to heal. And he was going on. Oh, by the way, I should say, we were outside this mini sort of, like, cafe, and, hang on, sorry, I was getting a low battery warning. And we're outside this mini cafe on this sort of smallish table. It was round, 2 seats. He's on one side, I'm on the other side. And he's just not taking no for an answer. He wants to hook me up with this girl. I'm like, God, dude, I'm just really not interested in that, okay? Just let it go. Then he's offended that I'm not interested in, like, taking up on his offer, because apparently he's doing me some favor that descended from a golden chariot from heaven. And that's where he decides to insult me. He's like, oh, of course, she wouldn't be a type, would she? She's not a lesbian. That's where I then got pissed off, and it was a Jack Bauer moment, really. I mean, I grabbed the table and I threw it to the side. I grabbed him by the throat and I moved him off the chair, kind of like what John Travolta did in Face Off when the other guy in the movie made the insult about his dead son, because I didn't have a gun to pull on him, but possibly could have gotten that way. But anyway, so yeah, I got him to the ground. I just started going gross mode, just beating and hitting him and stuff like that. And yeah, looking back on that one, yes, I do regret being the shittier person in that situation, but yeah, hey, what happened. And so yeah, I guess all I can really do from that is learn from it and try and work on problem-solving skills. Back then too, I was a bit, quicker to temper, because I also was going through a very big depressive stage at the time. So I had a lot of heightened emotions, and it didn't really take much to set me off in any kind of negative way. And I didn't really smile back then either. So like what you're seeing now, where you see this, okay, you wouldn't see back then. So yeah, I guess I was also a little bit of an unpleasant person, but still. Yeah, so those are the 3 events I can think of at the top of my head as to where I just completely lost it. yeah, there was another time as well where I lost my shit with one of my sisters, and that's because she, and already we didn't like each other. We like say maybe 10 words to each other a year, and she decided it would be a really great idea to date one of my best friends. It was actually the guy, if you watch my other video, the one, Be the Bigger Person, when I said I was living with the guys that I gave my bacon and tomato to, the guy, whose name again I'm not going to mention, but she dated that guy, lied about being pregnant to try and get abortion money from him, just so she could buy a new set of shoes or some shit. So, and that's that's her and her good side, by the way. She's got far worse qualities than that, and so I don't even see her as my sister. She's just the one that come out of the same vagina as my mum. So, yeah, we both just came out of the same cunt, basically, so, anyway, ironically though, my mum's got 2 cunts, and she's the second one. Anywho, yeah, I lost my shit with her when I found out that that happened, because it's one thing to do that to anyone. When you actually go out of the way to do it to someone that's one of my friends, and she fucking knew this, fuck her. Big time. Anyway, yeah, there's a reason why I haven't spoken to her in over 4 years. I think it may be closer to 5 years now, but anyway. Hey, blood-related or not, I don't give a shit. If you are a kind of person that is a piece of shit, I don't want to fucking be affiliated with you in any way, so die. Yeah. I suppose if I think of any other things, times where I lost my shit, I could do a follow-up on it, but, yeah, I don't know. What about you? Any times you lost your shit? Parents don't need to mention this one. And if you have kids, yeah, there are times where you're gonna lose your shit because kids will push your buttons. Anyway, especially if you're the kind of person that doesn't believe in discipline. And amazingly, when it comes to, kids that get abused, the majority of the time when it comes to parents that actually beat the shit out of them are the ones that don't believe in discipline. And because they let their kids get away from stuff, their kids turn up being cocky little shits, and then majority of the time, I should say, I know there's people are going to be, oh, but my kids are blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever, I'm not talking about you. Majority of the time. Kids grow up being little assholes because they were never disciplined and learnt the concept of punishment, and they'll only learn this kind of stuff when they reach adult years and when they get arrested and put in jail. It's like, oh, I don't get it. There were never consequences when I grew up. Yeah, it's because you had shit parents. Anyway, yeah, me, I had, pretty strict parents that were kind of fair as well, but yeah, if I ever backchatted to my mother, I would have woken up in the gutter somewhere, because she would have smacked the fuck out of me, okay? She's black, she would just win, yep, fuck you. And, yeah, if you didn't know, I'm actually part Aboriginal, so, yeah, there you go. On my mother's side, it's the Aboriginal side. But anyway, yeah, beside the point. So, yeah, like I'm saying, yeah, it's okay to lose your shit with kids at times, because that will happen. I mean, yeah, I remember there were times where I pushed my parents to, yeah, to the brim of, near fucking destruction. And so, yeah, the punishment they forked out for me was pretty fitting, considering I was, a little shit at times growing up. Not really because I went out of my way to be a bad kid, I was just kind of stupid, but anyway. Yeah, my sister was the one that was a cunt, who would go out of her way to be an asshole, but anyway. Yeah, enough about sibling rivalry, but, yeah, the parents that went to town on their kids are the ones that thought, oh no, I don't need to discipline them in any kind of way, and then because, kids know this, they're not that stupid, they push the parents to the extent where they just snapped, and so, yeah, then you have to get child services involved, and then all this kind of stuff, and I think, all this can be avoided if you set some kind of punishments in place, so, be a parent as well. Anyway, guess that's all I had to say about this particular topic, so again, thank you for listening to me rant and, dribble shit, basically. Yeah, all in all, yeah, thanks for watching and stay safe. Jesus Christ, that is on there really good. Bird is the word? No, bird is the turd.